Okay, so today we are going to make a boomerang hyperlapse for Instagram stories. And I'll show you that right here. We'll go through the process of shooting, editing and exporting for Instagram stories. So let's go out and shoot. Okay, so to shoot this time-lapse, hyperlapse, whatever you want to call it, you need a camera. I'll be using my trusty D3100. I find that it works better with a wide field of view because that gives it like more movement to the scene. I set it to manual to ensure I get the same exposure on each shot. Then you want to find an object. I'll be shooting this tree and I'll find a spot on the tree which I'll point the camera to in each photo. This will make it much smoother in post. And so I'll be starting like a few meters from the tree, then go towards it between each photo. So I shot 47 images, and that will result in like roughly 2 seconds of video at 25 frames per second. And that means you have to shoot a lot of photos in order to get these kind of shots. So let's check out how... You already seen how that went, so let's just get in and start editing. So first of all, we want to open up Premiere Pro and create a new project. Then we want to import our footage, and we want to make sure that we import them as an image sequence and that we choose the first image to import. And then we want to create a new sequence with a resolution of 1080 by 1920 in portrait mode, and then set the frame rate to 25 frames per second. And so now you can drag your footage into the timeline and make sure that you keep the timeline settings. Since our footage is larger than our sequence settings, we need to scale down our footage. I use 50%, but this depends a bit on the footage that you shot. And as of now, the footage is kinda shaky, so we need to stabilize that. But to be able to stabilize it, we first need to nest our video. After we have nested our footage, we can go into Effects and add a warp stabilizer to stabilize our shot. And we also want to make sure that we change the method from subspace warp to position, scale and rotation. Then we need to nest that video so we can reverse it later. And in order to loop our video, we want to copy the first video in our sequence and paste it after 3 times. Then you want to take the second and the last clip and reverse them, so that it loops back and forth. And now there is just one more thing to do, and that is to delete one frame in between the cuts. And the reason behind this is when you reverse a clip, that clip starts on the same frame that the one previous ends on. and so you get duplicates at that cut. Now all we have to do is export the video. We want to make sure that we use H.264 as our format and MP4 as our multiplexer. And if you have an audio, you can use AAC as the audio format. You also need to make sure that the resolution and frames per second match the sequence settings that we set earlier. I will set my bitrate to target 15 megabits per second at a maximum of 20 megabits per second. But you can actually choose whatever you want to, as long as the file size does not exceed 1 gigabyte. And all you have to do now is press that export button, transfer it to your phone and upload that sucker to Instagram. Did you find this useful? Leave a comment down below and tell me. And since you're still here, you might want to consider subscribing, because otherwise I might get lost in the vast sea of YouTube, never to be found again. And as always, have a good one.